Data-driven marketing. Now, this is...
Bring it home, yeah.
So, look, long story short is, look, data has been around for a long time, but I read a study recently that it's almost more valuable than gold, right? And especially 2021, they said it's going to be really, really precious. And so we'll get into the ethics side of that in a few slides, but let's talk about the potential and data-driven marketing. So... carry away. Boom!
Let's see, where's that soapbox?
Look, gentle, easy.
Yeah. Look, in essence, the nice thing about data-driven marketing is that you're making decisions based on facts.
Yep.
At the end of the day. So, well, traditionally in terms of marketing, you were sort of having a bit of a guess at what you were doing. You sort of knew based on science and theory about how it should work, that's what we should do, but you were never quite sure, even down to looking at, whether it's even a TV or radio, and you sort of had these audiences that were done through polling and stuff, and you sort of thought, okay, well, we're talking to an audience of 80,000 or 300,000 people or whoever, and you think, okay, yeah, but how many people are actually listening to this? There's a huge disconnect there. Whereas now we can tell right down to the absolute finite, hey, that person, not only how many people watched the video, but to how far through the video they watched, what parts they skipped in the video, and did they make it to the end? So that to me is amazing in terms of the power and just the opportunity for improving things with everything that we do, because we're actually seeing what's really going on.
Oh my gosh, so much. I can't tell you how many times when I start with a new client and we're going to be starting a new product campaign, and I see a lot of their old videos, and I go, great, can you give me the data behind how these videos did? Were people watching through? What kind of audience? What was which platforms went better with which, durations? They go, oh, we don't have any of that.
I get told all the time, what wage pages worked? What messaging has worked?
Right there and then. This is another thing we talked about. If you're a smaller media, even a large business, you could save multiple different people's jobs just by actually getting this data and capitalizing on it, using it to have a just so much more solid campaign and well-informed campaign moving forward. So if you're not at the moment capturing this data, which most platforms just
YouTube gives it to you, Facebook gives it to you. A lot of them give it to you now.
There's probably potentially people out there that are saying, well, where do I get it from? Actually, the reality is the platforms you're using already, most of them already capture it for you and do it. It's really accessible. So it's more about the real challenge with data is how to interpret it and then how to use it. Now,
I feel the radio.
Quite right. It's basically what you do with that information, because there's plenty of it out there. The data is so rich in all those different platforms. One of the key tricks that we because we use Google's G Suite or now Google Workplace, one of the great tools that they have is Data Studio. And that's a fantastic tool.
Okay, there you go.
You get free access to it as part of the software. And the nice thing about it is that you can pull in all your Google Analytics information. And if you use a few, there's like Supermetrics and stuff, which allows you to pull in the data from Facebook and stuff. It means that you can actually create dashboard reports or simple reports that give you all the information in a nice, easy to sort of digest manner. We just went through this literally today in our team, where we have these huge sort of 20-page reports that talks about all the different channels and stuff. And in one of the recent customer interviews that I did, just to sort of get some feedback about how we're going, he said, look, I like what you guys are doing. It's really interesting. You've got these great reports. And he said, honestly, I don't care. 20 pages of things. I'm never going to read it. Honestly,
your team would have been crushed.
All I want, that's right. He's like, all I want is one page. Shows me a bunch of numbers that really says that everything's going well. Green light, green light, green light, red light. What's going on there? Tell me what the answer is. Okay, cool. So to your point, Kristin, around, knowing, not just having the data, but what does it mean? What are the insights that we can derive from it? That's the critical stuff. And with some of the amazing tools and stuff that are out there now, you can ask the question, the information's there. And then with that information, it allows you to make very clear decisions that are moving things in the right way. And that's what I love from a marketing point of view, because then we can look at what channels are we supposed to be putting our money towards. And we go, well, that's the one there that's got the best return. There's also, we're not actually capping it out in terms of what's potentially possible. Great, let's do a lot more in that area, and don't worry about the rest of the stuff.
See, I think what I really enjoy about data is, as Chris said before, I think when you opened up, you kind of said there used to be a lot of guesswork in our game. It used to be, look, here's how we're going to do this marketing campaign. This is the messaging we're going to put out. These are the visuals we're going to put out, and we're going to use this media. With the way that digital media operates now, you can actually, backtrack a bit. You used to have to go, right, we're going to use, we'll do all these concepts, but we're going to go with concept A.
Yeah.
We run it, and then we'd all hold our breath as concept A went out there, and then we'd see, what type of return it got and how well it was received. Whereas with digital media now, you can actually go, we're going to go with concept A, B, C, and D, and we're actually going to let the market decide which one is more interactive.
A/B testings and stuff,
Now, for all of us, that's a great thing because that means more activity, more work. But for the customers, they still need to realise that every time you do an A, B, C, and D, you do actually have to create a whole new journey that goes through there. You do have to think about what is the different. So there is a bit like that. So don't just all of a sudden go, right, this is so cool, I can test everything. Because you can test everything, but it'll take you a year to test everything. And what you really want is to narrow that field down and still be quite succinct and just be testing the A and B or the C, not testing everything because you're just trying to determine.
So you're saying there's a bit of intuition too.
Yeah, you've still got it. Yeah,
I like that
because there's a lot of work that goes behind every time you think about it. You even with the automation that we had, if you put a customer journey in there and you've got 5 different critical decision points, you've got to have some sort of content that drives off that decision point. So if you put in 20 decision points, you've got to have 20 pieces of, and then they've got to go through a different journey. So think about the, time spent.
Yeah. And it's not
versus
always about
return.
doing all those different ones. It's about learning from that campaign.
Exactly.
You just did.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, even once a campaign's finished, that's really the time you can go, okay, this is how it did. This is how we're feeling. And this is how we're going to update it next time.
Yeah.
Where before you were just saying, I don't know if it did good or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So just utilizing it even in that way, if you don't want to or don't have the time to do more than a couple journeys, you can still utilize.
You can still get loads of great information out of it. So, as I said, there's a plethora out there. You don't have to go and get a newfangled app
start small
because it's already there, most of it. But and this is one of the challenges that we've observed with a lot of customers is they will know it's there, but they don't necessarily how to interpret it. And this is where
fear takes over.
But it's time as well, Chris. And that is where, if there's going to be a complete blatant plug for someone, that's where you need someone like this guy, Oddball, to really do that. It is, because this is where one of those ones in our whole marketing field where you do need people that understand the data.
That are analytical, specialised in it. Because it's a specialisation, right?
It's simple as that.
But you can't remain naive, is your point.
You
can't just go, look, I know there's data there, we could be making better informed decisions.
Yeah, but we'll just leave it.
I realised the intuition blend. That was interesting. I think that we came to something there where it's like there's automation, but that, like Mike was saying, there's so much of it there and so many options that you need to still, as a marketer, think, okay, how do we use that information, that informative to find what we could do and make it practical. I think that's a nice blend. So to sum up, I think we might move on in a second. Everyone,
let Mike sum that one.
Well, I think
for 2021, in perspective of 2020.
Good point.
Data is only going to get bigger. The use of data and how we make decisions. Because we can track so much, and we will continue to be able to track more and more. Although there are some privacy situations kind of coming up, which may change things in the future. But at the moment, we have so much information that we can kind of work with it. So it's brilliant. The key thing that I sort of look at and sort of recommend to everyone is that when you look at your data, just be careful about what data you're capturing and how you're utilizing it. Because quite often we get clients sort of looking at the vanity metrics and kind of going, oh, I'm getting impressions or shares or clicks and that sort of stuff. And you go, oh, isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's nice, but at the end of the day, what we've got to do is break that down into actual sales.
Insights.
So how's it going through that funnel and saying, well, okay, it's nice that we've got that, but is that then translating to sales down the end? Because if it isn't, then it's okay, great. So you got 1,000 likes or 1,000 shares. so what?
You see
What
that
did that
Yes.
actually do for you?
Yeah.
So that's the danger with lots of data. You look at it and go, oh wow, look at this huge numbers here, huge numbers there. We've got growth. It's triple digits and stuff. This is amazing.
Still no
Is it hitting
dollars.
bottom line?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Is it actually generating more
And
business?
it happens on
Yeah.
a lot of social media platforms. So
Yeah, I mean, well, because the social media platforms, let's be honest, they're geared to get you to spend more money on ads.
Yeah.
So they give you the key metrics
And
to get you
vanities.
to spend more money on
Yeah.
ads. So it's like how many impressions, how many clicks. So and you can't blame them for doing that. They're running a business at the end of the day. But as
So
you
are
say,
you.
Mike,
And so you need to,
yeah.
to make
So are
smart
you.
decisions,
You've
right?
got to make the smart decision,
Yeah.
and you've got to really cut through that into how's this adding value to my business. But